Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the pleasure to participate in this international conference and be amongst you all. First, I would like to introduce myself. I am Omar Oustous. I am a statistician, and I am the head of evaluation service of public higher education establishments in the National Agency of Evaluation and Quality Assurance for Higher Education and Scientific Research, known as Aneaq. And I am a first-year PhD student in numerical analysis in the field of education. As you can tell from the title, the main goal of this presentation is to show you how Aneaq has affected the Moroccan higher education system in terms of evaluation and quality assurance. First, I will start by a brief introduction in which I will present the agency and its missions and goals while highlighting some weaknesses about evaluation and in Moroccan universities before the creation of Aneaq. Then I will give in more details about the two main references used by Aneaq in evaluation of training programs and establishments. I will be also describing the institutional evaluation process and the Aneaq's scope of actions, and then I will be also describing the institutional evaluation process and the scope of Aneaq's actions. Results and discussion section will cover the real state of quality assurance in Moroccan universities and the principal achievements and perspectives of Aneaq. The conclusion will be about the impact of Aneaq's practices and activities in enhancing quality assurance culture and practices in Moroccan higher education. And at the end, I would like to share with you some general recommendations to improve the evaluation process. Moroccan universities and institutions of higher education have been motivated to set up mechanisms for evaluation and quality assurance, mainly for two reasons. First one, the competition and the competitiveness in the field of higher education at the national and international levels. And the second is the diversification of higher education systems and the entry of new providers into the field of training. In fact, Moroccan universities did have a rich experience in terms of internal and external evaluations, be it voluntary or within strategic projects, cooperative ones, or at the time of major reforms. But this evaluation were usually irregular and sometimes partial, covering only a specific domain, and the criteria used are not the same. So there is no common reference for this evaluation to be used for comparison or classification. This weaknesses of evaluation in Moroccan higher education in one hand, and the application of several articles of the law 0100 related to the principle of continuous evaluation, on the other hand, have led the parliament to create Aneaq in 2014, but its debut wasn't until 2017. Aneaq is an autonomous instance created in 2014. The goal is to improve and ensure the quality and competitiveness and diversity of training, and to promote scientific research and to adapt the training to the labor market requirements. Aneaq has four missions. The first, the evaluation of public and private higher education institutions. Second, the evaluation of training programs, the evaluation of scientific research and effectiveness of its structures, the evaluation of university cooperation programs and projects. Up to now, only the two first missions are carried out. The first is mainly based on the national reference system of evaluation and quality assurance, and the second is principally based on the national pedagogical standards and guidelines. I will present these two documents in more details in the following sections. It is important to mention here that the evaluation are made by experts and specialists. They are chosen based on their recognized qualification and competencies in their field of expertise, of assessments, and their specialization, particularly of relevance to scientific and technical research. Before I go further, it is important to define the two core concepts, quality assurance and evaluation. Quality assurance can be defined as a set of processes and mechanisms for evaluation for achievement of objectives. The quality approach helps institutions to make what it does intelligible and to make a clear diagnosis and analysis of itself, and to identify areas for improvement indeed. The second concept is the evaluation. Evaluation is the systematic audit process aimed at measuring the ability to meet the specific requirements and achieve the objectives, and the level of performance with the criteria or expectation of the institution. It allows the institution to get a feedback on quality improvements. For the reference materials of evaluation and quality assurance, we have two fundamental documents. The first one is the National Pedagogical Standards and Guidelines, in French, CNPN of 2014. It is the main documents for evaluating the training programs. It is important to mention here that we have two categories of public establishments here in Morocco. The first category, the public establishments affiliated to universities, and the second category is the public establishments not affiliated to universities. The National Pedagogical Standards and Guidelines specifies the standards that are specific to each level and each type of degree. For example, bachelor degree, master degree, engineering cycle, and other degrees. They also specify the design and structure of the training program. For the private higher education, we have more regulatory texts concerning opening authorization, accreditation, and recognition. And there are also other regulatory texts specific to some domains, such as medicine, pharmacy, and other specific domains. For the evaluation of establishments, we have the National Reference of Evaluation and Quality Assurance. It is published in 2020. It is adopted in the internal and external evaluation of Moroccan public and private education institutions, of higher education institutions. It outlines the requirements to which all institutions must refer in order to implement their quality assurance procedures. This national reference is founded on three fundamental elements. First, it's capitalized on the result of previous projects, the research projects, the reinforcement of competencies in institutional evaluation, and the Aquamed project. It is a kind of benchmarking, especially the standards and guidelines for quality assurance in the European higher education area, European standards and guidelines. It is the result of the work carried out within the framework of the technical assistance project subsidized by the European Union. The national reference consists on 5 domains. The first domain is governance and the management of support functions. The second is training, scientific research, accompanying students and student life, and finally, service of the institution towards society. In total, we have 146 criteria in the national reference. The institutional evaluation process is a three-phase process. The first phase is the preliminary phase. It concerns Aneaq planification of the operation of evaluations as a whole. Second, Aneaq designation of experts, and Aneaq ensuring the coordination between the establishment and the committee of experts. It includes transferring of documents, reference of evaluation, self-evaluation guide, and self-evaluation report, and planification of the on-site visits. The second phase is the self-evaluation phase. The institutions provide information corresponding to the criteria predefined in the reference. This data is integrated into a self-evaluation report that includes a critical analysis of the information. It is drawn up by the self-evaluation committee within the institution it is not reduced to a compilation of data relating to the achievements and functioning of the establishment, but is rather analytical, evaluative, and self-critical. It is important to mention here that Aneaq has developed a self-evaluation guide, which is a synthetic and practical tool in order to accompany establishments in their self-evaluation process. The self-evaluation guide presents the principles and methodology followed in the drafting of the self-evaluation reports in different phases of the self-evaluation process: preparation, designation of committee members, and data collection and processing. It's also specifies.
Omar, we're at about 10.5 minutes, if just to let you know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next phase is the external evaluation. The output of this phase is the external report. It is sent to the institution for a final review, and at the end of the process, the institution elaborates an actions plan in response to evaluation report's recommendation. The 4Ks for to succeed this operation of evaluation is the active participation of stakeholders, awareness of the interests of evaluation and quality assurance, the good planification and encouragement and motivation. This figure shows the processes, the institutional evaluation processes that I mentioned earlier, the three phases. So we move on to the Aneaq scope of action. For the evaluation of training programs, Aneaq is called open to carry out the evaluation and expertise of public and private training programs at the national level. The number of training programs varies from year to year, depending mainly on the number of accreditation renewal. For the evaluation of establishments, we have approximately 400 establishments at the national level, 216 establishments in public higher education, 161 establishments in private higher education, and 32 establishments in higher education in partnership. And Aneaq is aimed to evaluate all these establishments in 5 years. For the quality assurance in Moroccan universities, there are few works and studies on this subjects. I will present here two projects: the RESET project and EQUAM project. RESET project, the main conclusions drawn from this project are: the quality assurance constitutes for all Moroccan universities a strategic access. Governance is a priority domain for quality assurance in Moroccan universities. And finally, several universities have already conducted self-evaluation and external evaluation. The recent project is the EQUAM project. It's enhanced quality assurance management in Morocco. The survey revealed that the 78% of the universities surveyed have a quality assurance structure. The relationship between the quality assurance structure and the institutions is not formalized. All the universities have already undergone self-evaluation, and 75% of universities have already experienced external evaluation. All of this shows that there is significant work to carry out in terms of promoting the quality assurance culture and formalizing the procedures. Aneaq has been aware of its missions and goals in promoting the culture of quality assurance in the first place, so it's working on that. I will give you an overview here. I will show you the main achievements since 2017 of Aneaq's work. So the main achievements and perspectives are the standardization of establishments evaluation on the basis of the national reference system for evaluation and quality assurance. Aneaq ensure the periodicity and the regularity in terms of evaluation envisaged in the medium term, and the agency has used electronic processing during the whole procedure. And the first and second series of evaluation are carried out. Aneaq also produces an annual report to be submitted to the supervising ministry and to the head of the government. The agency also published its annual report and transmit to universities and institutions the reports on evaluation carried out for their benefits. And finally, the objective or the goal of Aneaq is to classify and rank institutions in medium and long term for more competitiveness and more attractiveness for students and teacher researchers. For the discussion section, I quoted the statement of the Conference of Ministers responsible for higher education in the European area. that says that the primary responsibility for quality assurance lies with each institutions. So the role of institutions is a primordial one in this operation of evaluation. To conclude, evaluation and quality assurance have always been at the heart of the reforms of Moroccan higher education system. However, the evaluation in Moroccan universities were characterized by non-exhaustivity and irregularity and non-standardization. So the creation of Aneaq and with the implementation of the national reference evaluation and quality assurance and the planification of regular cycle of 5 years for the evaluation of all establishments, Aneaq aims to overcome these weaknesses. And finally, the reports and analysis and studies elaborated by Aneaq include recommendation and good practices that will help the institution to identify areas of improvement and make a diagnosis of itself. I would like to share with you some recommendations to improve the evaluation process. In the institutional level, there are 5 general recommendation. Create evaluation and quality assurance units at each institutions while ensuring that human resources in the field of evaluation and quality assurance are strengthened through training and practices.
Omar, I apologize for interrupting again. We're at a little over 16.5 minutes. Are we able to, are you able to conclude in just the next few seconds?
Yes, yes, I have two slides.
Great stuff. There's a lot, but thank you.
Thank you so much. In the training program levels, there is 4 general recommendation: integrate the socio-professional side in the evaluation process, broaden the scope of evaluation of training, integrate adequate performance, and follow-up of the professional insertion of graduates in the labor market. And thank you so much.